Good morning. Welcome to your morning drive with Chuck. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Finally, for once, for a moment anyway, we don't have any rain in East Tennessee, but you know how it is around here. That's subject to change. My topic today is we need to take our government back over. I mean, come on, guys, let's get real about this. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't like the party system at all. I think we need to get rid of that, because all that does is create fighting among the people supposed to be doing stuff for us, and all they're worried about is their agenda and the other person not winning or getting ahead. So it's like, you know, they don't do anything for us. They're there for themselves. They're career politicians. They're there to make as much money as they can, get money from lobbyists, do what they want to do. They don't care a damn thing about us. But the one thing I will say is we need to have some checks and balances. You know, president can't be president for more than 8 years, period. I think, you know, any politician needs to be the same way. 8 years, boom, you're done, out, can't do it ever again. You know, I mean, you know, you could be a congressman for 8 years, you could be a senator for 8 years, be president for 8 years. You got 24-year total if you do all three. That's enough. And then it costs us so much money for these people, some of the stuff they do. And then we have so many idiots up there. Now, I'm not picking on anybody, whether they're Democrat or Republican, because I don't really pay attention to which one they are. I just pay attention to what they do. And some of the ones we have up there now, like Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, and a couple others like that. The newer girl, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, they have all lost it. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, just to make a statement, rips up Trump's State of the Union speech behind his head after he hands it to her. Well, yeah, maybe he did snub her. Maybe he didn't see her hand, shake her hand, he got the hand. I don't know. I mean, those two have so much animosity against each other. Little things like that are going to happen. But Nancy Pelosi was so big on wanting Trump impeached. That was her goal in life. Well, it didn't happen. He got acquitted. But they tried. Didn't work. Didn't have enough evidence. Okay, that's good. Whatever. But now, you know, they're trying to uphold what she did as a statement because how evil Trump is. Yet everybody keeps posting that little law that you're not supposed to willfully destroy any government paperwork. Well, that's sort of what she did. So shouldn't she have something happen to her? Shouldn't she be tried for what she's done? You know, they're saying, no, it was just a statement and everything. It's like, I'm sorry. All these idiots up there are just a bunch of whiny, self-righteous, narcissistic, self-empowered idiots. And the worst thing is, we're the bigger idiots for keeping them up there. And you think about it, some of the most outspoken people wanting rid of Trump actually represent cities where they do some of the stupidest things in the world. I mean, one of them represents the Chicago area, and they've got all these gun laws. They hate guns. They don't want guns. So nobody has guns but the criminals. That's the way it is with gun laws. You take them away from the law-abiding citizens, only the criminals have them. You know, look at the drug thing. Made drugs illegal. Guess what happens? People still get them. People still die from it every day. People are still going to have guns to do evil things with, no matter how many laws you enact. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. We're letting these people take our rights away every day. We're letting them give themselves raises every year for being a career politician. And think about this, biggest thing. I think the average salary is $150,000 a year for people like Pelosi and Waters and all them other ones. I mean, I can't think of names. Those are just the two that stick out in my head I've seen stuff about recently. $150,000 a year. Okay, let's say you've been in there for 10 years. Okay, 1.5 mil if you don't spend any money. I mean, I don't know the family history of these people, what they did before they come into being, you know, in politics, but they're worth millions. How do you become worth millions when you're only making 150 grand a year? I mean, you're still paying, you know, for houses and everything else. So how's that happen? Where's that money coming from? People, think about it. Where's the money coming from? That's what it's all about up there, is money. And I think that's one reason they don't like Trump. Trump has money. He don't need their money. He's going to do what he wants to. You can't buy him. That's why they all hate him. They can't get him to do what they want to do. He wants to do what he wants to do, which is fine. He can try. If it works out, good for him. If it doesn't, oh well. About like the rest of us. I try to do what I want to do. If it doesn't work out, oh well, it didn't work. But they are just so childish. Just like about that sit-in that Congress had a few years ago. I mean, they still had their aides bringing them stuff. They weren't working for us, but they're still making money. And they catered food in, which we're paying for. And then at the end of the year, when they shut down the government because they can't get along, they can't get the budget right and all that crap, they shut the government down. Now, probably 95 to 99% of the government employees at that point don't get paid. Hopefully, after everything opens up, they'll get their pay. But if for however long it's closed, they don't get paid. Now, the politicians up there, they're still making their $50 grand a year. They're still getting paid for doing nothing and being the ones that shut it down. I mean, let's think about this. Let's say you decide, hey, I'm not going to work today. I ain't going to work. I'm going to stay home. You need to pay me for that. Hey, see how many bosses you get to do that for you. Ain't going to happen. I mean, maybe once if something happens, you got a viable excuse. But when you shut down the government, or you shut down what you're doing for weeks, I decide for about 2-3 weeks, I'm not going to go into work. Hell, I'll be lucky if I have a job when I come back. Yeah, there's a law we need to enact. If they shut down the government and it takes them more than, let's give them a week. Let's give them a week. If they can't get it going in a week, that means they can't do their job. Kick them all out. Let's elect new people in there. Obviously, they can't do their job. That's the big thing I've been trying to get into. They can't do their job. These career politicians have been up there for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. They can't do their jobs. Things keep getting worse in their districts. They keep taxing us more. They keep talking about how bad it is. And you know what? Every time they blame whoever the new president is. Oh, it's all his fault. If the president's a Republican, all the Democrats, oh, it's all his fault. If the president's a Democrat, the Republican, it's all his fault. I mean, they hate each other. And I think this is actually true. I'm not sure. I hadn't really researched it. I just heard this the other day. But even George Washington said when everything first started, we don't need separate groups. That all it's going to do is cause problems. And boy, was he right. And we are not smart enough to do anything about it. We continue to let these idiots do whatever they want, come and go as they please, give themselves raises every year, give themselves better insurance than what any American can get just about. I mean, you want to get insurance fixed in the United States and stuff like that? Put them idiots on TennCare, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it. Put them on that, see how long it takes until they actually fix that shit. I mean, I'm not an anti-American person. I'm not an anti-government person. You have to have a government. You have to have a ruling body to make things happen. But when it comes down to they're not doing what's in the people's best interest, they're doing what's in their best interest, which is sort of like what happened a little over a couple hundred years ago when we broke away from England. They were doing what they wanted to in England, taxing us, doing whatever the hell they wanted to, didn't care about us. Isn't it starting to look the same way? And I'm not saying I'm not inciting a riot. I'm not trying to say we need to revolt. But the easiest way to do it is don't vote for these idiots again. Vote somebody new and they're younger with some better ideas that might actually get something done. Why are we continuing to let someone do the same thing, but they're not fixing anything? And relate it to your job again. If you come into work and you're not doing your job and fixing things and doing the things you're supposed to be doing, how long are you going to keep that job? Are you going to keep getting raises? Are you going to keep being asked to come to work every day? No, there'll be no raises because you're not doing your job, you're not getting it done, and you're blaming it on someone else. And you probably wouldn't keep your job because you're not doing your job. You're not getting things done. You're blaming everything else for your failure or everyone else for your failure. So why are we continuing to allow them to have a job telling us what we need when they can't do the job and they're not doing what we want? Now, I'm sure there's some people say, oh, there's a bunch of them, they're doing what we want because they're doing the gun control thing. We don't need guns. Well, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to open your eyes on that one. If you take your guns out of the law-abiding citizens' hands, the only people that's going to have guns is law enforcement, military, and criminals. And of those three, Of course, criminals, I want to have a defense against those. I don't want to be defenseless if somebody comes up to me in a parking lot and they pull out a gun or a knife or something, and I'm sitting there going, oh, hey, oh, yeah, shoot me, whatever, No. Law enforcement, military, yes, they have to have weapons. And according to our rights, our rights, Second Amendment, right to bear arms. And they're wanting to take that away from us. And hell, they're almost wanting to take away the right to free speech. It's also like, I think this is amusing. When Nancy Pelosi ripped up Trump's speech, there's a lot of stuff on there. I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff probably touting himself and the things he's done, but I heard he talked about the Tuskegee Airmen and other things that really was talking about good people in the United States. Well, there might have been some things where he's, building up his own balloon and all that, but there's a bunch of the good things in there too. I mean, I haven't listened to the whole thing because I don't follow politics, really. Don't care anything about politics. I think they're all crooks. But, that had to be a slap in the face to the Tuskegee Airmen, their families, military families. Anybody Trump pumped up and she rips that up, that's just slapping all in people's faces. I mean, she hates Trump so bad, she disrespected a bunch of other people. And I think that's the way a lot of the people in politics are. They disrespect a lot of people, a whole lot of people. And we're those people. They talk about draining the swamp. I'm not sure if Trump come up with that or somebody else, but that's what we need to do. Them people need to go. I'm sorry, that's just my thing. And I'll be first to admit, I don't usually vote because I think they're all criminals. But in this particular instance, when any of those career politicians come up for election, I am going to vote for the other person to get them out of there. And that's what we all need to do. Every 4 or 8 years, we need to vote those people out. But I was going to the free speech thing. Somebody took Trump's speech and they edited it and put in, pictures of the people he's talking about, when he was talking people up and everything. Well, now the Democrats want that taken down off of all social media because it makes Pelosi look bad. So in that, they're actually trying to take our First Amendment rights of free speech away. Yes, it was edited. Pictures were put into it and everything, but it was still the basics of the speech that she ripped up. So since it's making her look bad, they want it taken down. And you hear about that a lot. When things like that make somebody like that look bad, they want it taken down. They try to get it taken down. Somebody says something bad about me, and they put it up on social media. Fine, go for it. I don't care. But they are so career-driven, money-driven, and want to be reelected, they don't want anything to make them look bad. Even if they really have done something bad. I mean, they seal a lot of records about things they do, about adultery and stuff like that. They seal those records. They pay people off with our money. And they want us to keep them up there doing the stupid shit they're doing. It's time for a change. We need to change things to make our country better, or we're not going to have a country. We're going to have a dictatorship run by our politicians that we elected to subjugate us. And that's what everybody needs to think about. Now, don't think about being a Democrat, a Republican, or whatever. Think about being an American and look at some of the things these people are doing and the rights they're trying to take away from you. And you might want those people out of here too. All right, enough of my rant for the day. I hope everybody has a wonderful day.